So I'm just back up at Howard's to look at this pulveriser that's coming into us for some hard facing. As you can see on these jaws, it's worn a little bit on the front edges, so we'll build them up and build it all up round here. Always better for it to come to us with the jaws open like that. And as you can see, the paint has already been getting stripped off by Howard. And what he does with all these attachments, he takes all the paint off them, basically blasts them, but doesn't blast them, and repaints them so they're like a new attachment when they go out on any of his jobs. But I'm here to go and look at a job with him, but we're actually going in the helicopter to look at this job. So this is the first start of the day, so he's got a battery pack on there. It is about 7 o'clock in the evening. Gazelle, that's what this helicopter is, and it's been restored to its former glory as it is today. So this journey is about a couple of hours, I don't know, but Howard said it'll take 15 minutes in the heli. So if he can take the heli, he'll take the heli over driving any day. So I'm going to jump in with him and let's go for a fly. So it's actually an hour's drive, but you can fly there in 12 minutes. Is that right, Howard? Yeah. Howard's over there, but one day I'll get him on camera for you guys to see. But at the moment, he's not coming on camera just yet.
He's got a fire in a minute.
Who remembers Airwolf? Who remembers Airwolf as a kid? Woo! I think I'll get my headset on in a minute and wait till we get in the air. Well, I was just doing a few checks now and it starts to spin on. Backing up. Oh! What's it? Well, we got a little bit of rain. Nothing to worry about. Is that the M65 there? Going towards Blackburn that way. At the location where we're going to, so I want to keep that off camera just for now, and we'll come back to this shortly. Alright, so we've got to our location and we took a big dip then in the flight, and I thought that was normal, but I was like, no, there's too much cloud about. So it looks like we are grounded and I'm going to have to borrow a car or get an Uber back. So better game, innit? Better having a bit of fun. But the job that we're doing is a really good, interesting job that's going to be coming up on the channel probably month or two, couple of months time anyway. So this is the first time Howard has ever have to leave the heli. So it's grounded and they've just weathered it. So they've secured the blades, as you can see. Change of plan. We can now got a clear line of sight. So we've decided, well, Howard's decided we're going to fly home, because you can see where we want to go and work his way around the clouds. You guys can see, but it looks a lot clearer now than it did before, and it is 9:15 at night. Let's get ourselves home. Firing up again now, ready to take off. Got the windows open so we don't steam up. Safe and sound, I was never in any doubt. Now, I must admit, I might have got a little bit worried then, but that is what you call professional flying. Yeah, many flying hours under you there, Howard, haven't you?
Just a few.
Just a few. But it's like Howard just said to me then, it would never ever put anybody in any danger. That was perfect line of sight through them clouds, wasn't it? Boom. Home and landed. Perfect. Now I'll get myself home because I'm going Buckingham at 4 AM. Alright, so I've just been called out to a job over in Liverpool for Howard Stock demolition on a Crusher 400X power screen. Let's go and take a look. We've got a tail drum bearing failure. This Crusher's been working flat out for the last 6 months. So tail drum is the back end of the belt. You see that bearing has failed there. So this ram, we'll be able to lower the back end of the belt down with this ram and get underneath the Crusher, just track it onto some beams so it gives a little bit more room to get underneath it. Should just be able to squeeze underneath there to get at that bearing. But look what's here. WF 001. So I've just been talking to the driver, who he's actually called Baz too, and I said, have you been giving it some pain? He said, oh, have we been giving it some pain? So we've got all this to rip out underneath the Crusher. He's been ripping some big slabs out with it. So I basically said to him, just give it as much pain as possible whilst it's on 50 tonner. Because that will be the big test for it, especially ripping big chunks of concrete out. That bucket has got full warranty on it, as it is our first bucket. Any issues with that, we will be straight out to site and sort it, but I can't see there being any issues, to be honest with you. It'd be nice to see it digging today, but I don't think we will see it ripping out whilst I'm here, as I want to get this done quick and away and get this Crusher back up and running for these men. I did actually get a phone call about this last night whilst I was on my way back from Buckingham, and I called in at Blue to get a couple of bearings just to make sure we'll get this running this morning for these guys. This Crusher is coming off this job in 2 weeks' time, and then I'm going to go right through it, put a new full set of skirts on it, basically give it a full inspection, and anything it needs, that Crusher will get. And that will be a good Crusher to buy at some point when it comes up for sale. Anyway, I'll get cracking on and get this bearing whipped off. Well, that's the old bearing off. You can see it there, destroyed the inner race. Well, half the inner race had snapped up. And you have to gas cut the other half off the shaft. And then the bearing I've got is the wrong size. So that is 55mm bearing. This is a 55mm bearing. And thereabouts, you can see. And we've got a 50mm bearing, so I picked these bearings up last night. But they've been picked wrong. Because the delivery note says 55mm, but they have been picked wrong. So they've got a man in a van on the way with a bearing to us now. It should be about 45 minutes for them men to get here. Now then, if you don't know anything about tail drum bearings, to get it off, basically you want to get hold of the belt and pull the belt to one side of the drum. That allows you to get in there to get to the nuts and bolts, and then basically pull the tail drum back to allow you to get the housing off the shaft. Pretty straightforward and easy. Hook that up to the machine and just pull it back, off. 10 minutes of a job getting it off, really. 10 minutes of a job getting it back on if you have the right bearing. Oh, look at that, 50 tonners here. WF 001. Oh, let's give it a bit of an inspection, eh? Shame to get paint dirty, I've seen that in the comments, I know. And some people said, why have you gone to town on the painting? Well, it's all about presentation, especially on our bucket number 1. I'm going to give this a good look over now, check all the welds. So that's the Lenoff hitch, if people don't know what Lenoff hitches are. See how it mounts now, can't you? Locked into that plate at the back. I'll inspect this bucket every time it comes back in off a job. And over time we might put some hard facing on here, or maybe even put some lip protectors on. But we're just putting it to work for now and see how it goes. Bit of kit though, isn't it? You'll never see one of Howard's machines in bad condition, believe me. Ever. And these were the first set of track guards we did for him. The very first set. This little SK130. Because we changed the design up a bit on them. Anyone scratches back end on one of them, believe me, we'll have serious words off Howard. Nice to see the boys working anyway. I'll just have to hang about for this bearing to turn up. That's better now. The bearing has landed. So we just took the little adapter out for the grease line out of the old bearing. Reuse that. And now we can get it back on the shaft. But whilst I was waiting for that bearing to land then, I took all the boys for some breakfast. Bolton breakfast, seems it's a Friday here today. We'll get this on and then we'll get the machine up and running. Well, there's a new bearing back in position now. So what I did find is the grease line split. So whenever you put a bearing back on, always check that it's taking grease. I mean, it's very unusual for a bearing to go on one of Howard's machines, to be honest. And the only reason why it has gone is because the grease line has a split in it, so the lads would never know that that bearing's not taking grease. So if you just saw then, I put a grease nipple in the back end of that bearing, and this grease line has split running down the chassis. So again, like I say, this is coming off here in 2 weeks' time. I'm going to go right through the machine. Them bearings only need greasing every week. Basically, about every 40 hours of running, the belt bearings need greasing. The main bearings on the jaw need greasing daily, every 8 hours, every 8-12 hours. So we're just going to pull this off these little girders now, run the machine up and see if the belt needs tracking over. Here's just a few items that you need if you're going to change a tail drum bearing. Some chains, a bottle jack, a couple of chain pulls, and the correct bearings, not the wrong bearings. So let's get her up and running and get these lads back to work. So I've just adjusted the belt up to centralise the belt again, as it has travelled right over to one side. The belt was too tight, and a telltale sign of a crusher belt being too tight is if it comes up in the centre. As the belt's travelling up there, if it's raised up in the middle, it means it's too tight. So we've just slanged it off, tracked it over, but we need to make sure it's centralised at the tail drum and the head drum before I leave sight. So to do that, we need to put some material on the belt. So we're just putting the crusher in the position where it will be crushing at. I think there's some material in the feeder. There might be even some material in the jaw box, as they stopped it and they realised the belt was too far out. So we'll get it in position and we'll run some material through it. Check the positioning of the belt at both ends. And look at WF001 over there. What a little beauty. Proper setup. That's Baz on the controls up there. So as you can see, she's tracked over in the centre there on the head drum. Whereas if you can, I don't know if you can tell on that outer ring there, it was wearing into this side. And if you look down the belt now, you see how it's towing over at that side at the bottom. So we might just need to adjust it at the tail drum end. There is just slight adjustment at the tail drum end, not a lot. Most of the tension is at this end. So this is a BAM site, and BAM site is full orange, hence why I'm in my old overalls. Per plant. I need to get some overalls, don't I? I'm just dampening down the material there before it goes through the crush. Keep the dust down. Just looking at the belt position down there, it's a little bit too far this way.
Just over there, over
yeah. Needs a new set of skirts on it. Get an hammer on that return roller, now it stops.
Yeah.
These guards, them guards that do that. Right, so this material that we're getting down here, we shouldn't be getting any of this. That's because of that skirt there. See that skirt there? That's your spring assembly, that's your toggle plate just sat behind it. It needs a new set of skirts ASAP. I'm going to get a full new set of skirts for this and come back to site and fit them. I don't think it'll last 2 weeks, it'll just keep blocking the tail drum up. I'm filling the ground with material. Main mod. So, because it wasn't running quite how I wanted it to run and the material was coming off the side of the belt underneath, it was blocking the tail drum. So we decided to change the skirts whilst I'm here. Look at the skirts there. So that's what causes your material to fall back and block your tail drum. Well, we thought whilst I'm here, we'll get the job done. Jordan's in there grafting away, look.
Digging out of holes, digging out of holes.
Alright, son.
Aye.
What a good job he's doing.
Trying to get this belt cleared out.
Yeah. We'll clear as much off as we can, make sure all them rollers are turning. That side skirt ain't too bad, but we are going to change the whole lot, but only this one today. So what I did, I got Callum out to go head over to Blue and collect us some skirts, and they'll be here any minute. And we'll get this on and get this back up and running. If you leave them like they are, it's just going to cause more problems for the lads. Yeah, they'll just have to keep digging it out every day, so we might as well just box it whilst I'm here, and then they can have a clear 2 weeks of crushing. Hopefully without any problems. I'm going to give the machine a full inspection. When it comes off this job, we're going to give it a full hit, make sure everything's right before it goes to its next job, which will be a couple of days after it comes off this job. These men are that busy. It's good that they're busy, it's good that everyone's busy, yeah? So I'll show you again when we get the new skirts on, because we've got the proper skirts for it this time, we're not cutting and drilling anything, we're going to get the proper ones for it. So we now just run that pile through it with zero spillage. New rubber skirts on this side. Beautiful. You know, when I talk about running a crusher before we leave it, that's why we got to run a crusher. You find these little small issues, but they need to be right, because if we'd have left them skirts as they were, these men would just have a nightmare with it over the next 2 weeks. So now they could just run full bore with it. I've got a list of jobs that need doing to it when it comes back in, and we'll box them in a couple of weeks' time.
Well done, boss. Well done, mate, well done.
Good boys, good boys. You can go flat out with that now.
Oh, aye. Raring to go.
Monday morning's getting dealt with.
There's a lot of steel in this though, isn't there? There's a lot of steel, but the magnet's pulling off there. There's a lot of steel in this. So maybe just give it a little tweak over, just 2 turns on Monday, yeah?
Shift the belt, yeah.
Happy to go. Job done. Back to the workshop. Alright, so just a little update about work at the moment that we've got on. Because I've just had a meeting over at Hurt Plants Yard, the main depot in Leyland, where I used to work. And for those people that might not know, they've had a big concrete plant fitted. And this is the plan view of it. I know it's hard for you guys to see there, but we've got these little hoppers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's a little loading shovel there to give you an idea of the scale. Now then, these all need covers over the top of them. Well, it's a big plant. That's a £4 million plant, that. So Foxy, I had a meeting with Foxy this morning in Andy Swinnerton. So they all need covers over the top basically to keep the dust down for one, and to keep the weather off them, to keep it dry, the material. So it's either a case of like building a frame with a sheeting system, or basically build a building over them with a roof on it and a back sheeted. And I'm looking at this now thinking it's probably too much for us to do, too much in a short time, because I know what Foxy's like. He wants it now. Do you know what I mean? He's one of them that wants it now. So, right, Cal, just one sec. I'm just talking about work, so you could probably come into this one. So whether I don't know if I'm going to pull on that, or basically we're on a 6-week lead time at the moment, yeah. And when Foxy rings me to do stuff, it's like I feel like that I should really try and help as much as I can, because he helped me out when I left with the van purchase and the Defender and all the rest of it. So I'm going to look at that. I'm going to send it to my detailer. Probably have to get it calced because it's a roof and a back and there's wind loadings on it. You know, we're going to have to tie down into existing. They've got some existing columns, concrete columns there that we could fasten into. Well, I don't know, Carl, we're probably a bit too busy for that, aren't we? At this moment in time. So I might just tell them to go out for pricing on that. I'm not sure. We have a tipper body for DNT contractors. They bought an aluminium body that needs the sides, headboard and tailgate raising by 450mm. That's probably going to come in back end next week, so in about 8 days. Alright. So we've got to run that through for Gavin pretty quick. We've got the crusher outside, the little crusher for Murig at Williams & Williams. Now then, Murig, if you're watching, I just had a conversation with you, and about 25 minutes, half an hour conversation, and what a lovely fella you are, yeah. So what I want to do, I'm going to try and box this crusher off for you next couple of days, get it ready for going out, and I'd like you to come up, and I'm going to take you out for dinner, yeah. But if you don't come up, I'm going to try and come down to Wales and see you, and have a look at your setup, and we'll go out for lunch down there maybe, depending on how busy you are. Just about building that little bit of customer relationship, because we had a right good chat up phone then. What a lovely fella. It was nice to talk to you, Murig, I'll be honest with you. We've got a pulveriser in that we've just got some building the jaws up for Howard Stott. I'm just about to drop the cat bucket off with the Lenoff hanger on that Frank and Callum have both done together. We've just got a feed hopper coming off a screener, McCluskey S190. Like we did many months ago, if you remember, if you've been watching the channel for a while, we did a feed hopper on an S190 that needs a full reskin. reline inside the hopper. So I've ordered some 450 plate, and we'll get on with that in the next couple of days. We have had a new starter. New starter's started, a lad called Dean. So we're just putting him through his paces at the moment, see where he's at before we put him on camera. He's welding the jaws up on the pulverizer at the moment. We've loads of work to do for Archie up at Muirfield plant, and we've a shredder to do at HML that we have to do that back plate on. So I'll get some 20mm plating for that. Yeah. We have a profile. We know the profile for that, don't we? So we can cut it out plasma. Yeah. And there's a couple more days on other stuff up there, isn't there? Yeah, so looking at the workload at the moment, I'm just trying to get it all in my head. With an arm out there, I think, what's it called, that, a vac summit?
It's like a back excavator, it's like a suction thing.
Yeah, it goes up back.
Pipe work and
Do you want back a concrete wagon or something?
it's like a big tank.
Anyway, it's a guy called George who got in contact with me, and he dropped it off down here. But I want to get him down here and go on camera and explain it a little bit more before we go into the work on that. But that's actually sat outside the workshop now. And we have a riddle bucket to make for a 50 tonner. Now that is for a main dealer, Hyundai. I do know who the customer is now, and we will go into more detail of that when that starts running through. So that's another bucket. Howard wants another bucket. I'm just waiting for him to push the button on that. The other big job that we've got on at the moment is a hangar door for Howard's helicopter hangar. Yeah, so we're going to come up with a design, and we want the door to open from the top on a hinge, on 2 rams, and it'll open from the top on a hinge. So it's going to be quite a bit of thinking involved, and go and look at a few that are out there similar, and maybe get a couple of ideas on how we're going to do it. But he wants that doing in the next couple of months. So we've got a lot of work on. So basically we're on a 6-week lead time if something was to come in now. So I'm going to have to ring Foxy about that, because there's another job coming from Miller's Bridge, right? So there's Miller's Recovery in Longton. They've got a new yard and they're going over like a little river. Foxy's lads are there at the moment doing all the groundworks, the civils, and they want us to make the bridge. So I've just actually been sent an email, some designs. Need more men. Yeah. Need more men. Do we take more men on, or do we keep it steady away? I don't know. Anyway, me and Cal are just going to have a chat about it all now. We've got an extra strap on the jaw box there, and we're just working out where it's actually catching the feeder, where the feeder's catching when she's running. So we've cut a plate off on the inside of the jaw box at the front. We've noticed that we've got some movement within this drive here.
See a big gap.
Is there? You can see a gap? Yeah. So it's actually loose.
Like a 5mm gap on top of the motor. Probably. Oh yeah. Just figure behind it.
Right, so that could be another issue. So whoever built this new feeder
needs some more practice.
Needs some more practice. Because one, the coupling was collapsed on the motor on the opposite side, and now we found that this side is actually loose. Now that we've got the feeder running up and running properly. We get a little bar in that, Cal. Take the bolts out, lock tight and back to the feeder, yeah? Make sure there's no damage on the threads. Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright. And then we'll run it up again. We need the feeder running nice and smooth without any rattles. That's what we're looking for. So that's the let-off hanger on the cat bucket. That's no good. Put in a bit of chain over that or some cardboard around the corners of these with a bigger strap on, especially with a bucket this size. So always pull a bucket forward and always pull a bucket back. Low loader drivers, you'll see them use chains. That strap's not up to the job anyway. So we'll get that re-strapped up. And we've got a little branding on there. But Frank and Callum have done that. Good job, to be fair. So we've gone back to the bucket here, and we've also gone back to where it was original hangers underneath that plate, as you will have seen in a previous video or in this video. I'm actually losing a little bit of track where we're up to with the videos, to be honest. Well, that looks alright. Well, that's definitely a massive factor in it all. So, Carl, I'd say just make sure them bolts aren't damaged for starters. Look at that. Turn that way around. Right. Make sure them bolts aren't damaged. Really, we shouldn't have that play within the bolt. So I take a bolt out, check them, make sure they're okay. Yeah. And if they are okay, dog them up with some Loctite. Just make sure they're 12.9s. One of the 12.9s on. Yeah. Now we'll run it again. See where we're at. Weld that plate back in the jaw box at the front. Yeah. Put a skirt on it.
Yeah.
A little bit of patching up to do here and there, and then hopefully I'll be able to give them a call to come and collect. Hopefully. So just when you think you're on a winner, we left the machine running half an hour, and we just basically wanted to listen to it and make sure everything's good, yeah. And we heard a little rattle come back. Now then, so this is one of your weights on the feeder. This is what makes your feeder shake. So your motor goes into here, onto your coupling that drives that big weight shakes. You've got one on the opposite side there, and that one makes your feeder rattle. Now then, what we noticed is, for one, it's got wrong bolts in it. Got 8.8s, and they've no shank on them. That wants to be a tight bolt in there, that. Right, and then we noticed the crack right through the casing there and here, and it goes right through.
It's not good, that, is it?
So that is a machined item. Them holes are elongated, and the holes on the feeder are elongated. And then what's baffling me is that that's a brand new feeder. So whoever's put this back on the new feeder should have spotted that. Yeah. And I'm going to try and ring Bury back in a minute. I've just tried and he's out on the wagon today. Can you believe he's out on the wagon today, he's out, lad? So I need to, my plan is, we're going to strip this down and we're going to do a weld procedure on that crack, and I want rid of the crusher and he wants it back. So we'll strip this down, prep it, weld it, preheat it, post heat it, open the holes up to the next size up, so we've not got any play within the bolts. Get some bolts with proper shanks on them, so then it's nice and tight on the feeder, so it's not, because obviously there's a lot of vibration here that you got to think about. So if there's a lot of vibration, you can't have any movement in them bolts. You can't have no movement, zero movement, yeah, a fraction if anything, not that, which is about, put that bolt back in there, Frank. How much movement have we got in there? Look at that. You know, so just in no time at all, that is going to come loose. Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Crazy, 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 crazy. Anything on a feeder, really, they want to be really fine thread. You want some like locking washers on them, so it doesn't, anti-vibration washers they are, and then that will stop it from coming loose. So it's obviously just been banged back together quick, and no thought gone into it, and not inspected by the looks of it. Looking at that.
It's all the way through to the other side of the wall.
Mm.
You can see it without taking it apart.
Yeah. Well, we left it running and we noticed it. We could see a little bit of movement, and we're like, why is it getting a bit of movement? And then we could hear a little bit more of a rattle. So we looked at it a little bit more closer, took the cover off, and took that cover off basically at the opposite side, and then noticed the cracks. So we'll get it stripped down and do a procedure, and I'll just let my rig know. But hopefully we'll still get it away this week with that welded up, and possibly order a part, because maybe it'll last, maybe it won't, we're not too sure. But definitely change the bolts and get that locked onto the side of the feeder solid. So that's the plan, let's get it done. Book it back home. One of Howard's lads will give that a bit of cat yellow before it goes anywhere. Quite a few hours went into that. More than I would have thought if I was pricing it. But now I know. We're doing one. Get a bit more of an idea. What made it a bit more tricky was the hangers, the original hangers going right through the top plate back to that plate, really, because we tried gouging them off, didn't we? So we spent a bit of time taking the weld off the original hanger, when really we should have just cut straight through it if we'd have known. But now we actually know that cat buckets go right through. Not all buckets do, but cat buckets go right through. There's some other attachments with the Lenoff hanger, and people keep saying to me, "Oh, I'm not so sure about them hangers," and you know, it looks a bit old-fashioned and all the rest of it. Lenoff hangers are probably one of the best hangers on the market. Here's a selector grab come from MTK. Lenoff. So most of Howard's machines have got the Lenoff hanger on. Some have the oil quick hitch, like that one there. It's an oil quick. New rammer, breaker. Another attachment with a Lenoff hanger on. So yeah, for them people thinking it's old fashioned, they are actually probably one of the best on the market. So that's the bucket back, done, invoiced, back to the yard. So this is the side that we fitted the new coupling. If you remember a few chapters back, we got a new coupling and fitting for that motor as it was all broke up inside, and that housing we replaced. So it was the opposite side around here that we're just about to put back on now. Just got it hooked up there. We've just done a temporary weld repair on this housing as we've ordered a new one. The new one is £2,300 just for that little outer bit. So no matter what now, because we've welded that, at some point in the future that will fail because of all the vibration going into it. It is cast. It's a strange kind of cast because we used we tried it with a MIG, it wouldn't work, and we tried it with a bit of flux, it wouldn't work, so we did it with a similar rod and it got old. So at some point that will fail. So I spoke to Murig and he said he wants the crusher to be bang on, order the part. So the part is ordered. Well, there's about 2 to 4 weeks lead time, I think it is, they said, on the part coming. So what my plan is now to finish the crusher, get it away, get it back down to Wales, run it. They can run it as it is. You never know, it might just last a bit. It might last a day, it might last 6 months, I don't know, but at some point it will go. And we'll go down to Wales and fit the new parts when they arrive. Long day. Easy day. Easy day. So yeah, we got the new bolts. So these are the washers I was talking about. The anti-vibration. It's got an Nordlock washer. If people know what they are, can you see that? And as you tighten up onto that, it locks onto the nut and locks onto whatever material it's going to. Everything really on anything that's vibrating should have these type of washers on. So yeah, it's not far off. A bit more welding here and there. Yeah, so we'll have this box off very shortly, and hopefully the guys will be able to pick it up. Probably not this week. Be next week now. I spoke to Murig earlier and he's short on staff on the transport side, so probably be the following week that we get it back down to Wales. So we've just got the crusher built back up. Frank, give it a rev. Gonna fire the feeder up now. Beautiful. That sounds nice and quiet to me, no rattles. So that vibrator body there will be replaced as we've done a temporary repair on it. The mag belt. We can get them covers back on now. We've moved this plate down here. This plate has been lowered down on a different angle, that plate there. So the feeder was catching it before, now it's up plenty of clearance. Although it will be close once there's load within the box, but I didn't want to take too much, didn't want to take it down too far. So she's nearly there now. We put plates over them. See that side and that side, just to protect the skirts, so the material land directly on the belt rather than going into the skirts as it was before. And they're there as well. So she's pretty much ready to go back to Wales. And when that new cover comes in, that new housing, we shall go down to Wales and fit that. Bit of paint on them, Frank, them little bits of things that we've welded up there, yeah? We'll be starting this feed hopper shortly for the S190 for Jones Brothers. Got some material coming in from Genesis. My pal Tom from Genesis is going to bring that for me. And 450 Binel plate, 10mm. We'll reskin the whole of that. We'll actually cut that out, put a patch back in, and then a plate over the top of it, a full skin on the inside. And where it takes most of the hit, I might actually put 2 plates. We need to sort that Mezzo jaw box out. That's for Jones Brothers as well. So when that gets picked up, this could probably go back with it at the same time. We have started buying pallets of wire now. It's got to that point where we started to buy pallets of wire. We bought a pallet of 1mm and a pallet of 1.2mm wire. Solid. So it's a while since I bought pallets of wire. I used to buy pallets and pallets and pallets of it years ago. I never bought one pallet in about 20 years. Clive's just been on phone. I need to go to his house, do a job. Clive Hurt, that is. He's got a little job for you to do at his house. Alright. Yeah. Box this off first, so get that done and out at work.
A few bits in it.
Yeah. Alright, I'll ring my rig and let him know it's ready. Alright. Keep an eye on my new lad Dean. He's doing the welding on the pulverizer. You just keep an eye on him, yeah? Make sure all that's good. Turn that pulverizer over so he can get to the other side. You drive forklift, alright? Yeah. We'll have to put him through his forklift ticket before he starts driving the forklift, really. Dan's going out there. Whoa. He's always going out. Where are you going now?
I'm going to go to Clifton Drive at Lytham.
Going to look at these balconies that we've just won. What you got?
So a load of like Juliet balconies and glass balconies with aluminium track on an apartment block over in Lytham. Good job.
What other work you got?
Oh, that's unbelievable. Honestly, the work's crazy.
We've never been as busy, have we?
It's ridiculous. No, it's mental.
Yeah.
Mental. But it's good. It's good.
So it's at the point where we're actually subbing work out to other fabricators, which is good because we like to help other people out as well, you know. And especially I went to see one yesterday, didn't I? That I told you about. Yeah, so we're going to try and help them boys out. Yeah. I'll let you know about them.
We've got a bit of a job. It's going to weigh about 15 tonne in total. This truss that we're doing. Yeah. So we'll probably end up sending that up there. They've got capacity, haven't they?
Sub that out, yeah. Yeah, they've got.
Oh, definitely. Well, we'll be struggling even with 5 forklifts.
Yeah. Well, these guys have got cranes and stuff, so to handle this truss that he's got. So, in fact, I'll give them a bit of promo because they're good lads, aren't they?
Yeah.
We have to be careful who we promote on the welding side because we don't want to be losing work basically. But if we can help work out, I do believe in good karma, you know, and if you help somebody out, they'll help you out, won't they?
Yeah, yeah, well that's it.
You know.
We've got where we are now because of good karma, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. And Joe taking that role, that plough in.
How's
your wire turned up before mine? I ordered my wire 2 weeks ago.
No, I just pretended I were you.
So you rung up yesterday.
I rung up and said, hey, it's Baz at WELDERFABBER. Just send us a pallet of 1 mil MIG wire, will you?
Yeah,
Boom, straight here.
I've seen the invoice. I've seen the invoice.
Yeah, oh, put it on your account, didn't I?
I know it's on my account. Yeah, it's all right. I'll soon send it back over. We'll put an extra £1 a roll on.
Whoa, 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 whoa. It's £10 of spill, that, isn't it?
Right, I'll see you later then.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
see you
see
in
you
a
in a
bit.
bit.
So this is ready for a turn now. All the jaws have been out and welded up. 4 of them, 2 per side. And he's done as much welding as he can do in position where it is now. So we're going to turn it completely over and hard face the other side. Basically just this bit here. And these do creep down slowly. We've got that bar welded in there, can you see? Anybody goes inside, it's not going to collapse on them. Once that's done, I'll get it back up to Howard's so that he can get it painted. Got some C-sections in here, making some fork extensions for a big forklift for Howard again. And all we'll do here is weld the flat bar on the inside of that to beef it up and cut that down on an angle like that. The flat bar will run right through this end here, probably run past about 100 mil or something. Put a 25 mil hole in it with a pin through it to stop it sliding off the forks. And we have just received the order for the next bucket, WF002. That is going on a 50 tonner HX 480 AL. So that's a brand new Hyundai. So the main dealer is HES Enterprises Limited. And then they are over in Manchester. And the job is for the customer is Wallace Services Limited. So that's our first order off a main dealer. So I'm really pleased about that. We've got more buckets to build for Howard, don't forget, but this is one to build for a main dealer, Hyundai. Riddle bucket, so interesting again. You know, we're going to go full hard ox on the riddle bucket. We're going to go 1500 mil wide. We're going to go with a 50 mil lip on this. We'll put 4 adapters, 4 teeth, and yeah, we'll see how it comes out. So look out for that one coming soon, and we might make that a one-off episode. I'm not sure yet. So yeah, I think we've got enough for a chapter here now. So I'd just like to say a massive thanks for watching. Click that notification bell if you want to see what's coming in the future on the midweek side, as we have a midweek drop today. So cheers guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.